My name is Stephen Kiles. I'm a genetic counselor, Director of Genetic Services here at Ambry Genetics. Cystic fibrosis is one of the most common inherited disorders in the Caucasian population. It affects multiple organ systems, including the inability to clear mucus from the lungs, which can lead to increased infections and difficulty breathing. They also have difficulty with digesting protein, and it affects their gastrointestinal system. Cystic fibrosis can be diagnosed in several different ways. One common way is through newborn screening, testing newborns to see if they have an elevated level of a particular enzyme. Additionally, there's a sweat test, which is also used to confirm the diagnosis in both newborns and in older patients. And one of the more recent advances allows for genetic testing, looking at the mutations that can cause cystic fibrosis in the CF gene. And that is one of the most comprehensive tests available on the market today. Many labs will utilize a set number of mutations, maybe 23, 33, 50, 100 different CF causing mutations. The reality is the CF gene has over 1,500 known mutations. So one laboratory might just test for a small fraction of the known mutations, while other laboratories will do comprehensive gene sequence analysis, looking at the entire gene and being able to detect all 1,500 plus disease-causing mutations. A mutation is a variant in the gene that causes the protein not to function normally. There are many different types of mutations, and people can have inherit multiple types in themselves. There are some mutations that are more common, and those might be tested for by part of a panel. Gene sequencing will allow all types of mutations to be detected. The way the gene works normally is it codes for a protein. So it's basically telling the body to make a particular protein. If you have a mutation or a variant in the code, it's basically a mistake in the instructions. It doesn't know how to produce the protein normally, so you end up with an abnormal protein. An abnormal protein will not function the way the normal protein does. With decreased protein function, that will cause the symptoms associated with the disease. So Ambry Genetics is the best place to get tested for cystic fibrosis because we were the original laboratory performing full sequence analysis. We've been doing it longer than anybody, and we've performed more tests than anybody. We've done over 25,000 patients, more than every other lab combined. We have an extensive database that helps us interpret the results, and we have a staff of genetic counselors to help your physician interpret your results to provide you with the best care. The process of being tested involves a blood test. We can also do testing on saliva. Many cases that might be easier for the patient. There's a special kit that can be provided to your physician to obtain a saliva sample or a blood sample, at which time that sample would then be collected and then sent to Ambry Genetics for testing. Results would then be sent directly back to your physician. So usually genetic testing for cystic fibrosis is covered by insurance. We also have an insurance pre-verification program, so we can verify with your insurance company before testing that it will be a covered benefit. In addition, we have a tiered testing system. So we start with the most cost-effective test and proceed only in those cases where it's indicated to help keep costs down. So the actual cost of the test will vary based on how much testing we need to do. You know, one of the natural treatments is actually a relatively new therapy called hypotonic saline solution, which is basically salt water treatment into the breathing in salt water to help irrigate the lungs and move the mucus through. And one of nature's own forms of treatment is the ocean. And in fact, surfing, where there's constant exposure to the salty sea air, and the combination of exercise and breathing in the salt air is a great natural treatment. And many, many patients that have gone surfing have talked about how well they feel and how it's decreased their actual hospitalizations based on the fact that they're now regularly exercising out in the ocean. So yeah, surfing is actually helping patients with cystic fibrosis, and in fact there is a nonprofit foundation that was started just for that purpose. It's called the Malleola Foundation, and their goal is to, and their mission is to take kids with cystic fibrosis out in the ocean. And many of these kids have never ventured out to the beach, and they've been tended to be more isolated, and this helps get them out and exercising, which is a huge proven benefit. And the exposure to the salt air is another benefit, so that these kids are now getting to do normal activities and just falling in love with surfing and helping their treatment as well.